Hello, everyone, and welcome to Should You Read, where we'll be examining a manga's plot, characters, story, etc., to see if I think it's worth the read. Today, we'll be taking a look at a very popular yet daunting series that I'm sure a lot of people have thought about reading, but don't know if it's worth the time. Yes, today we'll be looking at One Piece. One Piece is a very long running series released as part of Weekly Shonen Jump and has been released weekly since the latter part of 1999. If you know anything about manga, then it's likely that you've at least come across One Piece and why you're watching this YouTube video, and have possibly considered giving it a read. But why wouldn't you? Well, as it turns out, when you have a manga that's released weekly for over 20 years, that creates quite the backlog to overcome. As of right now, there are over 1,037 chapters that have been released. And if you consider that each one takes at least a few minutes to read, the time investment really begins to add up. When we look at the volumes, which is essentially just a collection of those weekly chapters put into a book format with some extra goodies like extra R and words from the author, the current number is at about 100. 99 volumes have been released in English, and 101 volumes have been released in Japanese, with release dates for those last two volumes in English later this year. That's a lot. Now, before we jump into the specifics of One Piece, it's important to note that it's a shonen manga, which makes sense because it's published in Weekly Shonen Jump. A shonen manga is a manga primarily targeted at teenage boys, somewhere in that 12 to 18-year-old range, and often involves a lot of action and male protagonist characters. Does this mean that you have to be a teenage boy to enjoy One Piece? Of course not. Does this mean that if you are a teenage boy that you will definitely enjoy One Piece? Of course not. It's simply the group that the author keeps in mind when they're figuring out the story and the plot. But a love for action is a must. Other examples of shonen manga would be things like Black Clover, Dragon Ball Z, and Naruto. Meet Luffy, the main character of One Piece. He's a boy who sets his eye on becoming a pirate. But not just any pirate, the king of the pirates. The story focuses on him and the crew he assembles as they go on wacky and crazy voyages around the world to make that happen. Minor spoilers for Chapter 1, but part of what makes Luffy unique is that he eats the Gum Gum fruit, turning him into a rubber man. The Gum Gum fruit is a devil fruit, of which there are many spread out across the world, that gives whoever eat it a special power unique to each devil fruit. We'll see Luffy use those powers to his advantage as he battles his way to the top after fighting against many opponents during his adventures. Now, One Piece wouldn't be a manga about pirates if there weren't pirate crews. There are many crews in the world of One Piece, more than I could show at once, but it's a pretty common occurrence for Luffy and his crew to be at odds with another crew or even multiple crews as they travel from island to island, whether it's trying to steal treasures from each other, a clash of personality, or even fights over who's going to become the next king of the pirates. The range of crews and characters helps to set One Piece apart from the rest. And what's a pirate crew without a pirate ship? Naturally, each pirate crew has their own ship, commonly taking some elements from the crew or captain into their appearance. Overall, the pirate ships are somewhat a minor detail, and there are less true ship to ship battles than maybe you'd hope for in a manga about pirates, but it's always fun to see a new cruise ship and the crazy designs that they tend to have. Now, the world of One Piece is also pretty unique. The story takes place as Luffy's crew, the Straw Hat Pirates, travel from island to island in search of the One Piece, a treasure left behind by the previous king of the pirates. Each island has its own history, environment, climate, people, and more. Whether it's an island that never stops getting struck by lightning, an island under the sea, in the clouds, or more, the change in location over time helps to keep the One Piece story fresh and exciting. And foreshadowing future locations gives us something to look forward to as we imagine what type of island it could be. Now, there aren't just other pirate crews that Luffy and his crew have to worry about, but the world government's Marines as well. The Marines are basically the police of the sea, and they'll try to hunt down any pirate crew that they come across. A lot of them are fodder, but they have a number of powerhouses that you have to be careful of, such as the vice admirals, admirals, and even special forces. So don't let your guard down or you'll regret it. Another important thing to keep in mind is that the world and story of One Piece itself is very complex and well thought out. Like I said, each island has its own history and story behind it. And along with that, the story of One Piece as a whole actually has bits and pieces of a lot of different themes. There's the obvious ones like action, adventure, and dreams, and hints of things like love and romance. But there's also drama, horror, loss, internal conflict, family, friendship, and more. There's even zombies and dragons for crying out loud. Oh, not to mention all the crazy antics that Luffy finds himself in, giving us plenty of comedy. And last but not least, we can't forget about all the amazing and cute pets of One Piece. Like I said, One Piece has it all. So that brings us back to the original question. Should you read One Piece? Well, obviously, the answer is a resounding yes. If any of the things I've said so far have you thinking that you'd be interested in the story or plot of One Piece, then I think you should give it a go. It's more than worth the time investment. If the only thing holding you back is that you see how much there is of One Piece, and you're thinking to yourself, I don't have time for that, then I've got great news for you. That's a wonderful problem to have. The absolute worst part about reading One Piece is you wait for the next chapter. It comes out. You read it right as it becomes available, and 3 minutes later, you're waiting another 1 or 2 weeks for the next one. As Luffy would say, One Piece is about the adventure. It's not about the destination. Don't focus on getting to the end. Take it slow and enjoy the read. If it takes you multiple months or even years to read, let me say that you'll have been enjoying nearly every moment of it. If nothing else, I would recommend giving the first arc, which would be about the first 100 chapters of the manga, a chance. And by the end of that, you'll have a much stronger impression on the story as a whole. Anecdotally, one of the best weeks I can remember is when I took an entire week of summer break and did nothing but sleep, eat, and read One Piece. Keep in mind that there were maybe 600 chapters at the time, and I was already caught up, so I knew exactly what I was getting into committing to a full read, but it was great. As far as where to read the manga, and I'm focusing mainly on North America here since that's what I'm more familiar with, Viz is the official publisher of One Piece in North America, so any physical copies that you buy or read will be from them. You can also visit their website and read there. The other option is Manga Plus, which is owned by the same company that owns Shonen Jump, Shueisha. It's fairly common for publishers and distributors like Viz and Manga Plus to let you read the first 3 chapters and the latest 3 chapters for free, but require a subscription to read everything in between. And occasionally there'll be certain events going on where you can read additional chapters for free, but those are kind of special and they don't happen all the time. Because Viz is the official North American publisher, you can only read the in between chapters there, so chapters 4 and up, excluding that latest 3, and only access the first 3, latest 3 on Manga Plus. Luckily, Viz is only $2 a month, so the amount of content available for the price is considerably cheap in comparison, especially when you consider that it's not just One Piece that you're getting access to, but all of the different manga on their website. Personally, I find Manga Plus's interface to be easier to use, so that's what I use for my weekly fix. And of course, you can always get the physical copies from your local bookstore. They typically sit at around the $8 to $10 mark for individual volumes. Maybe your local library even has some volumes sitting around. Now, if after all that you're still not convinced, there's one last beacon of hope, and that's the anime. The regular weekly anime probably has the same hurdles to entry that you're concerned about as the manga. It's long. However, there are a number of movies and specials, all called episode of whatever, that are actually condensed content from the manga. The story isn't one to one, and you're missing out on some detail by relying entirely on these specials to get your understanding of One Piece, but they are a great first look at One Piece to help get you acclimated and see if it's right for you. I'll leave a list of these in the order to watch in the description of the video, and you can typically find the specials on Funimation or Crunchyroll. My last piece of advice is to be cautious about online communities such as the One Piece subreddit. Not because they're bad communities, I'm on the subreddit all the time, but simply because they're going to be riddled with potential spoilers. Proceed at your own risk and make sure to only click on spoiler free content if you don't want to accidentally find out about something. Well, there you have it. I hope you liked the video, and if not, well, you're the ones who wanted to know. Let me know in the comments what you think about One Piece, and if there's other content you'd like to see me cover, like other manga or maybe specific arcs within One Piece. Thanks, and have a great day.